Okay, this is it. You're at the very, very end. So this is part 8. There's no more notes after this. You have your final test on y equals, on functions, and then you'll be done. So just like before, you have your summative coming up. Notes 8 is mostly review. It's mostly review. You're not going to learn a lot of new stuff here. You're mostly testing your own knowledge and then making sure you know how to do stuff. So I want you to try all of this by yourself first. Try all by yourself first. And once you're done, use this video to check your work. So if you don't know how to do the stuff in these notes, go back to what you've done before. Go through stuff, try practice, try all these things. You really want to be confident with what we talk about in these notes. If you're set, awesome. If you're not, you can use this to help you, but you really have to know how to do it on your own. So we have all kinds of sections. We're going to start with y-intercept. Then you move on to plotting, graphing, tables, equations. On the back, we have a little bit of old review from before, and then below that we have creating equations from different information. That's really going to be it for the test. So we're going to start by looking at y-intercepts. To define a y-intercept, it's where the line crosses the y-axis. Where the line crosses it's where the line crosses the y-axis. Okay. So we got 4 lines here. They all have their own intercept. Right here on the first one, we put our point at -3. Our y-intercept, or b, is -3. Here, it crosses at 1. So b is 1. Here it crosses at 4. So our b is 4. And here it crosses at -2. So our b is -2. Wherever it crosses the y-axis is your y-intercept. And when we write our new equation, y equals mx plus b, we replace our b with that y-intercept. So we'd write y equals mx plus 4, or plus 1, or -3. Whatever that b is, we replace it with our y-intercept. Okay, so now that we've introduced y-intercept, we can go ahead and write equations. So we're given these y equals setups, and we want to fill it out with our slope and our y-intercept. So for the first one here, my y-intercept is 2, so I just put 2 for my y-intercept. Then I need to figure out the slope. I do rise over run. I'm going to go ahead and place a second point, and then I have to fall 1 and go over 1, 2, 3. So my slope is fall over run, rise over run, fall over run. I'm going to end up with -1 over 3. I went down 1, so it's 1 on top. I went over 3, so it's 3 on the bottom. Looking over here, my y-intercept is -1, so I'm going to put -1 in parentheses to show that it's negative. And then to get my slope, I'm going to place a second point, and I'm going to do rise over run. So I go up 1, 2, 3, 4, up 4, and I go over 1, over 1. So it's going to be 4 over 1, or just 4x minus 1. So creating equations is that easy. You get your slope, you get your y-intercept, and you solve. Okay, so now that we know how to get equations from a graph, let's go ahead and go the other way around. We want to get a table and a graph from an equation. We're going to go opposite order. So I'm going to use my equation to make a graph. I'm going to go ahead and place my first point at -2 because that's my y-intercept. And then I'm going to use my slope to do rise over run. I go up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And because this is a 5, I imagine the number on the bottom is 1. I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then over 1. I'm going to use a note card to draw my line, giving me a nice clean line for my y equals equation. Okay, so now that I have my graph, I can also do my table. My y-intercept is -2, so it's going to be 0, -2. I also have another point at 1, 3. 1, 3. Notice that my slope is 5. My number keeps going up by 5, -2 to 3. If I put another point at 2, this is going to go up by 5 more and become 8. I go to 3, it's going to go up by 5 more and become 13. I go to 4, it's going to increase by 5 more and go to 18. It's just plus 5 each time. Plus 5, plus 5, plus 5. Simple as that. Okay, so let's go to the next one. My x is -2. I can't go up to 6. Sorry, let me start from the beginning. We're given a table. We want to do a graph and an equation. I'm actually going to go ahead and do my graph first again. I want to find my y-intercept. That's where x is 0. So this is my y-intercept. And it's going to be b equals 4. So my first point is going to be at 0, 4 right here. Then I can go 1, 3, 2, 2. Now I can connect these points, and I also need to find my slope. I notice that my line is going down by 1 and over by 1 each time, but to make sure I can go down 1, over 1, down 1, over 1. So my slope has to be -1 over 1, or just -1. So my equation is -1x. I'll make that a little more clear. I have -1x plus 4. My y-intercept is 4. My slope is -1. Okay, so I have my two lines. I started from a table, plotted my points, got my slope, got my y-intercept. Had my equation, plotted a line, got my points. Notice here as well that because my slope is -1, it's going down by 1 each time, just like we saw before. Okay, let's flip over to the back. So the top of my back is review from the first 4 sets of notes. We have to know the slope formula and how to do rise over run. I'm going to do the slope formula stuff first. So I'm going to use these vocabulary words to go ahead and create my slope formula. That'll be y new minus y old over x new minus x old. Y new, y old, x new, x old. And I can use this formula to calculate the slope here. The first thing I do is pick an old point and a new point. Then I'm going to do new y minus old y, new x minus old x. That'll be 11 minus 2 over 5 minus 3. So 11 minus 2 is 9. 5 minus 3 is going to be 2. This is my slope. 9 over 2. And it's that easy. New minus old, new minus old. Okay, so with that established, I can also do rise over run. There's 4 steps. First, I plot 2 points. Okay, so here I'm going to go ahead and plot 2 points. I want to make sure they're on the crosshairs of my grid. Then I want to count up for a positive slope or down for a negative slope. So I'm going to count up. I count up by 1. Then I count over. I count over 1, 2. And then I make it a fraction. So my answer will be 1 over 2. That's my slope. So up, over, up, over, up, over. That's the whole process. So as a quick reminder, if we have a slope of 0, your equation is just y equals the y-intercept. And to show you what I mean, if I did a slope of 0 here, my equation would be y equals 3 because it crosses here at 3. An undefined slope is a vertical line, so it's going to be up and down. And your x equals whatever your x-intercept is, so wherever it crosses the x-axis. So for my undefined line right here, I cross at -4. So my equation is x equals -4. Okay, let's move on to the bottom. We have 3 ideas here. Actually, I'm going to do this in the second video. So to get this bottom stuff, you're going to move on to the next video. Trust me, it's important. But it won't be too bad. You'll also be able to reference your old notes to make sure you got it.